Triston Casas is getting ready for the upcoming season, joining us now. And Triston, I asked you earlier, I'll ask you now. No restrictions this offseason, right? You're healthy and ready to go.
Yeah, as soon as I kind of got cleared to play, I felt like it was full go for the offseason. So didn't really take a lot of time off from the end of the season till, when I started working out. Typically, I would take about a month, to get back into the weight room, into the cage. But I think I took about 2 weeks. 2 weeks, but I had that off season's worth of time off during the season. So I just wanted to get right back into it, get that workload up, get the volume back in the cage, try to rebuild that strength. And I've been feeling best shape of my career so far. So I'm in a really good spot.
You're a cerebral guy. You think about hitting. You think about approach. You spent a lot of time stuck with your own thoughts last year because you couldn't play, right? Can there be an advantage out of that in a weird way? Like, did you learn more about yourself because of the time you had with yourself last year?
Absolutely. I felt like in game I was having tens of at-bats because I was just putting myself in everybody's shoes, trying to think along with the pitcher, trying to guess sequences, and really just trying to put myself in situations as if I was hitting myself. I felt like it helped me right when I came back onto the field, that visualization aspect of it, where I feel like I can put myself in a position where I'm creating the pressure and the stress in my head without doing it physically. So all those things are just mental mishaps that almost happen out there, putting too much pressure on yourself, because it's the same game that we play in spring training. It's the same one as an Instructs game in the middle of November on a backfield. It's just there's more people watching and a little more noise, and that sometimes can get the best of people or bring the best out of people. So I try to channel it into focus and energy that's positive. But being in the dugout for so long really just gave me a good perspective of the game, and of situations, of what I'm trying to do, and getting to pick everybody's brain, including the pitchers. A lot of the times just asking them what they would do in that situation, or how they're trying to set up this particular pitcher based off the matchup that they're finding advantage-wise for them. So I think it was great for me, just because I took advantage of it, not because I wasn't on the field, but just because I took advantage of every day as if, I was still in the lineup.
When I watched you come up through the minors pretty quickly, but the people around you at every step always told me what a confident hitter you were, what a confident athlete you were. We got to see the first couple clips of the Netflix, and there's a sequence where you just had an at-bat you didn't like, and you are out at first base warming up the infield, and you are just beating yourself up. Do you do that a lot?
Yeah, it's just the way that I motivate myself. I motivate myself by talking badly, telling myself everything I'm not going to be, everything I'm not going to do, and that fires me up and it gets me going. Some guys got to be talked to differently, and that's what I'm not going to say that's what I struggle with most, but sometimes that's how I try to get in guys' heads too. Try to motivate them by talking bad about them and talking down on them, but it's not always the best approach sometimes.
You got to know your audience.
People. Yeah, I know.
You got to know your audience.
So trying to just get myself back in that mindset. It's a tough pendulum to balance, because I want to have grace for myself and understand how difficult it is to do that, but at the same time I have a lot of expectations for myself, and I just care about failing with the right intention. I don't know particularly what that situation was or what pitch it was, but I just maybe I didn't like the way that it happens, because sometimes if I'm facing a guy like Garrett Cole, he's got a really great fastball and I'm not trying to miss it, and I'm looking for the top of that ball and I roll it over to second base, I won't be as mad, but if I'm facing a sinker baller that I'm telling myself get under and he still gets me to go over it, that's when I'll be a little more upset. So just understanding that, the game is hard is what I need to do better. But sometimes, I get in my on my rear end, I'm just on myself, really, really tough, because I expect a lot out of myself.
The volume of information available to a major league hitter today is unprecedented, right? We were talking before about what websites I look at. You guys have access to 10 times what I have access to. That balance between preparation through the analysis and the information and just preparation through the confidence you have in that if you do what you can do at your best, you'll win the battle. How do you balance that?
Yeah, it's tough to gauge, because the percentages that we're being given are all just overall consensus of a left-handed hitter, not particularly the type that I am. It doesn't take into account the situation or how the pitcher is feeling, what time of the year, whether he's tired or not. So I just really try to go in there with a lot of feel. I try to understand the conditions, where I'm at, how am I feeling. So there's a lot of things that I take into consideration, maybe sometimes too many things, instead of just going out there letting it rip, because, you know, a home run to center field plays in every situation. So sometimes I try to be too perfect or try to find a hole and shoot it. But overall, try to have a lot of feel for the game. And it's funny, I could give you every single number because, you know, our analytics guys are so great. I know in the bottom of fifth inning with a 2-1 count and a runner in scoring position, that's 75% of the time he's going to go to a curveball. Now, if you knew every single pitch and every single count all throughout the game, it's like, what would you really take into that at bat when you have 15 seconds to reset? And it's 15 seconds, you have to get in the box by 9. So if you foul a ball off, you really have like 5 seconds to make a decision about what you want to do. So it's a lot of adjusting on the fly. It's a lot of feel, and it's a lot of looking out there at the pitcher and trying to determine whether he wants to attack you or not. It's a beautiful cat and mouse game. That's what I love about baseball, is that one-on-one interaction with the pitcher that you really don't know what he's going to try to do, because he doesn't even really know. It's going to be an in-the-moment thing with the catcher, but that's why the game planning is so important now with the clock. Everybody's got to be on the same page, pitching coach, catcher, pitcher, because there's no time to shake off. There is no time to go out there and mound visit. So it puts pressure on everybody to be better, that clock, and including us as hitters, resetting, taking a deep breath, and just realizing you got another pitch, and that you're probably going to get a strike, and you gotta hit it because they're coming after you to attack you.
I want to ask you finally, for a young guy, you've heard the rumors. When you're a good young player and a team's looking to add, your name gets thrown around. Have you kind of learned to compartmentalize that? I mean, you talk to a lot of guys, and that can be one of the tougher final things, to learn the business of baseball, not let it interfere with you as a baseball player. Have you learned that lesson? Are you learning that lesson?
Yeah, I try not to pay attention to it, of course, because I try to just stay in my lane and understand that come March 28th, I'm going to be playing a major league game, whether it's for the Red Sox or not. I mean, would I like to spend the rest of my career wearing these 6 letters, whether it's Boston or whether it's Red Sox? Absolutely, 100,000%. But it's funny getting my name tossed around with all these great players. I'm like, wow, he's a great player. Like, oh, that person's good too. Like, maybe I'm good too. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's exciting. Obviously, I want to stay here, but just to hear my name get thrown around a lot, it's funny because maybe I add value to that team as well, and there's a lot of great organizations out there, but none like this one in Boston. So would I like to stay here? Yes, absolutely. But is it fun to hear my name get compared to certain guys? Yeah, it's interesting as well, but that's the business, and having a little bit of a career, especially in the minor leagues, seeing all the turnover, I understand that, it's part of the business, and sometimes there's shocking moves that have to get done to shake up an organization, and, a lot of times they work, just moving guys and a little turnover, could do a lot of good for an organization.
Good stuff. We appreciate the time. Good to see you.
Tom.
All right.
Appreciate it. See you.